So this guy, Sean, gave me 10 minutes of his time in between meetings at the Capitol Grill on 16th Street in Bethany, bro. Can you imagine? This guy that was doing flips, he had a company called Rock Solid Investments. He says, I got 10 minutes in between my meetings. Yeah. And I'm like, let's go. Sal, we got 10 minutes. Let's go. I'll take the 10 minutes, right? And by the way, every wholesaler out there that's listening, this is just part of the journey. Yeah. Everything we're talking about.
Exactly.
Right? If people aren't giving you the attention that you want, if you're out there grinding it out every single day, being resourceful, chasing and getting after it, welcome to business. It's just part of the journey, right? So watch this. I go to the Capitol Grill and I'm just, bro, I'm on the table and I'm waiting around, right? I'm waiting around. He's in a meeting and I'm just like waiting around. Then he shuts off one meeting. They leave. He comes over to our table and like, hey brother, do you want a salad? Like, do you want some tea? Yeah. Like I remember I specifically, would you like some tea? He's like, no, gentlemen, I only have 10 minutes. Thank you. Yeah. But my other meeting's about to begin here in about 15. Yeah. Right? How can I serve you today? Right? He got straight to it, bro.
Straight to it, yeah.
And I said, brother, we're new in the wholesale space and we're just wondering, what advice would you get? Like literally, bro, can you imagine? Yeah. I set up a whole meeting to just, what advice would you give a new wholesaler in the space? Yeah. And he goes, this is and always will be a reputation business. Yeah.
Fam, what's up? Welcome back to the REI Big Shots podcast. This is Rafael Cortez, my co-host Victor Heredia. And
what's up, guys?
Today, bro, the man, the myth, the legend, we have none other than Mr. Carlos Reyes with us on the show.
Thank you, brother.
Bro.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you, bro.
We go way back. We met back in like 2015. Which is centuries ago when it comes to real estate. We're living dog years in this space, right? So from back then, I mean, so many things have happened. I mean, it's incredible. I want to dive into that journey. I know Vic, got started in the journey as well, like with you. So I mean, there's so many blessings that have happened over the years since then, man. It's great to have you on the show. Thank you for carving out the time, and let's get right into it.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for having me, man. Sal asked me right now, by the way, everybody out there listening, when I got started in real estate, right? It was probably a lot funner than what I do now, if that makes any sense. Watch this. When I started in real estate, I was the guy putting out bandit signs. I was the guy door knocking. I was the guy putting out flyers on windshields. Yeah. Right. I was the guy going to appointments. I was the guy cold calling through Mojo Dollar. Right. I was the guy negotiating deals. I was the guy making offers. I was the guy with the agreements. I was the guy doing everything on that side. Right. And then people ask me like, oh man, so what happens when you've been in the game 10 plus years? Right. I'll tell you what happens. Now I'm just a guy that is in meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting.
Yeah.
Watch. Yeah. Ask me how many meetings I've been in today, and it's only 2:30, 3 o'clock. Ask me how many meetings.
How many meetings have you been on today?
All right, ready? Let's see. Solar, Inner Circle. That was like a whatever. HR meeting. Going through a semi-annual employee review. We're putting together a review process, right? We're finalizing it. Let's see. A sales meeting. Did a sales meeting. Let me see. One more. So 5 meetings.
I got to ask, what's Inner Circle?
So Inner Circle it's actually a general business. So, bro, I don't do anything real estate related as far as like coaching anymore. Unless you're part of Property, which is our private equity real estate company. I paid my dues in the coaching space. Yeah. Right. And I'll say I will openly say it because I used to not, out of humility, I used to not say like I coach this guy, right? But I've coached a lot of people. I've had the honor and the guidance from God to coach a lot of people in the space. People like Tiffany High and Eric Klein, and Donovan Ruffin's been to our events, and Nick Perry's been to our events. Momentum.
Well, actually, we were in Elite with Eric Klein, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I had Eric Klein on a podcast earlier today here.
Oh, he was here today?
Yeah, 9 a.m.
Ask him if I coached him, because he's
podcast,
telling
yeah.
everybody that Grant Cardone coached him, but Grant Cardone doesn't know anything about wholesaling. So anyway, right? I just think that's hilarious. But there's been a lot of people out there. Austin Rutherford, Terry Summers, Terry Thayer. I've had the blessings, bro. Adrian Hernandez, right? The blessings of coaching a lot of people, and bro, I did that for 5 years, and then I said, you know what? If I'm going to continue to help people build multiple 7-figure businesses, I'm gonna need some equity, and that's when we launched Property, which is our real estate private equity company.
Gotcha.
So now with through Property, right now we partner up, and then you get daily coaching. You get daily coaching, and that's not the only thing you get. You get acquisition guys, you get disposition guys, you get the whole machine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because our goal is for you to succeed. I want to put you in a position where I take away all of the nuances and all the challenges that it takes to grow a wholesale company, and I dial it into where you are focused on one thing and one thing only, and that is closing deals.
Yeah.
I do the marketing for you through our Universal Lead program. If you need closing deals, I got guys that will close your deals. If you need to disposition deals, I got guys that will do that for you. I take away all of the challenges that up and coming real estate investors / entrepreneurs deal with early on in the game. I mean, you remember, you know what I mean? It was tough.
Yeah. Well, that being said, tell us about your journey, like that journey when you first started. What was the impetus behind it, right? And then the transition. I think we're curious to know about that.
Bro, so I think I've been in this. Sorry if I keep doing this because it's just rubbing here, but I think I've been an entrepreneur, right, since I was a little boy in Mexico. I was born in Hermosillo, Sonora. I was raised in Guaymas, Sonora. I was raised by a single mom. Out of choice, my mom left my father, obviously, because he was abusive. He was a coke addict, and God bless him, by the way. He's no longer with us. Lost him 2 years ago. But
and this is all in Mexico, right?
Mexico, yep. And then, he would come home drunk and, again, get very abusive. So a few years of that, my mom said, no more, right? And then we moved to our grandparents' house about an hour and a half south of Hermosillo, which was Guaymas. And then it wasn't even a year later, bro, where my mom was just like, hey, this isn't going to do it. Like, we're dirt poor.
Yeah.
And we're dirt poor. And I started working early at that time. I was going door to door selling bread.
Well, you showed a picture of your house. It was literally like a shack.
It's a shack,
right?
yeah.
It was a
So
shack.
it's a lot of
like
people,
it wasn't a house. It was.
And
a
by the
shack.
way, I was just in Mexico.
Yeah.
And those type of houses are still there.
They're still there.
Yep. They're still. It's laminate roofing, right?
Go to the outskirts of any
yep,
town in
yep.
Mexico, you'll
With
find it.
some plywood and some.
It's
cardboard.
plywood. It's laminate roofing. It's dirt
Pallets.
floors. Some people don't have electricity. Like, we're not too far from that. Everybody always thinks like, oh man, that's like in India or something. No, like it's right across the border.
Yeah.
Go to Rocky Point. Go to Tijuana. Right.
Yes.
Go to Nogales, and you will find some of those houses that I grew up in. Right. So my mom just said, you know what, this isn't gonna do it. And then she had the testicles, right, as a woman to cross over and try to make a life for me and my siblings. And she received her paperwork through Amnesty, and then eventually, she brought me over. So the first time I came over was through Tijuana, actually San Isidro. We were at my aunt's house in Tijuana until it was time to go cross. San Isidro, sewer canal in San Isidro, into San Diego County.
So you went through a sewer canal.
Well, it's not like people always think it's like a pipe, but no, a sewer canal is like a canal.
Yeah.
It's it's down and there's water. You know what I mean? Like,
Gotcha.
that's what we went through the first time. We made it to a little town called Escondido. It's in the San Diego County area. We weren't there too long. We failed miserably financially. Went back to Guaymas, right? At that point, I started bagging groceries. And then another year went by, and my mom was like, okay, saved up enough money. I'm going to Phoenix, which is where we are today. And she left us for another 2 years with my grandparents. And this time she brought us over one at a time. She paid a coyote / human smuggler $25, got me through a hole in the fence in Nogales, met her at the McDonald's in Nogales, came up in a shuttle, started my paperwork process in 1997. I got here in 96, started my paperwork process in 97, and then I got my work permit early 2000s, and then I got a permanent resident card, and then in 2012 I became a citizen of the U.S. Praise God, it was a long process, bro.
Long process.
But it got done, and then 2013 I started, trying to get into wholesaling.
Yeah.
So
That's incredible.
no.
It's pretty interesting how a lot of adversity stories, right, just kind of collide on the same vertical. It's a very big opportunity, and there's not a lot of the barrier to entry is low, right? It doesn't mean that you're necessarily gonna last in it, right? You gotta have that tenacity. You have to put in the work. You have to you gotta want it and be hungry about it. And I think it's when I feel like when life is too easy right out of the gate, a lot of that thick skin or that need to make something work is not there. And I feel like that's where we have a lot of attrition and fall off when it comes to people who jump into real estate wholesale.
I think there has to be some trauma there, and that trauma really drives you to succeed, right?
I've seen exceptions, right? Where like, okay, this guy, like, he had a super great life, no pain, no nothing, and he's crushes, right?
Yeah.
But it's like I get to see that as the exception, not the norm. Usually there's something there that drives people, motivates people.
But I think even like if you don't have trauma there was something there where you were belittled or overlooked.
Some type of pain.
There's some type of pain. Maybe it's not the pain that Carlos, which is extreme pain, right? But there's some kind of pain there, or maybe
sure.
just humiliation, right?
You come from the hood, or your parents said that you dropping out of college and you're never gonna make it, right? So there's a lot of that out there. I would say 8 or 9 out of 10 of the wholesale space is filled with those type of people.
Yeah.
But at the same, brother, at the same time, that is a lot of us in the wholesale space. We don't mentally and spiritually mature to a level in which we must. So then what do you get, right? Because of those type of people that come in with pain.
Yeah.
Now you give us some money, right? Yeah. And we got pain and we got money. Now comes the ego and the arrogance, right?
Yeah, you see that
now.
Now
Comes the status, right?
Yeah.
We never healed the pain. We just started making a whole bunch of money. So what do?
Yeah.
I've seen guys, bro. I've been here long enough, bro, to tell you, I've seen, I'm in Nick Perry. I got a picture of Nick Perry in 2019 when he had 0 tattoos. Yeah. Right. And then now he's tatted everywhere. No, I'm not saying, I'm just using him as an example that I've seen people transform from something else to whatever it is today. And that's just Nick. I love Nick. Nick's a great guy, by the way. I'm using him as an example. I've seen, man, I don't want to say this, but a guy that I no longer talk to, a guy like Rafael Vargas, right? I've seen, I've seen not good things happen with people.
The
like,
opposite.
you see what I'm saying? Where you're like, holy smokes, dude, what happened? Right? Like I knew a guy like that, I knew him in 2016, and then I had a little bit of a relationship with him from 2017 to 2019. Right. And then, again, if you do not spiritually and mentally mature, it can really harm you.
Yeah.
There's always a need for self-actualization, I think, and right as we're going through the process of growth, right? Inevitably, you're going to get to a space where you have to grow, because we're looking at expanding the business. We're looking at doing 5 deals instead of 3. We're looking at jumping up to 10. Anytime we take a step up like that, and I feel like the natural instinct is to get drawn into that, right, into that desire. Okay, I want to do more stuff, especially once you fall into this lane. It's going to require a new level of you. And we either compensate through hustle, and grow it that way, or you have the personal growth lane where, okay, cool, I know I can do more, but I'm also going to work on myself and develop my my mindset, develop me as a human being, and start getting awareness of who I am, what your lane is, what you really truly desire in life. I mean, it's easy to go on autopilot, right? Especially when you're getting you're making bank, you're doing deals and stuff like that. It's like, shit, man, it's you jump on that boat and it feels like I don't know, it's almost like a dream ride. And it's next thing you know, you open your eyes, it's like, fuck, man, what happened? Like, I had success, but I feel like as a human being individually, like not necessarily progress too much. Like, I have to understand and get to know myself. I fell into that space in my mid-20s.
Yeah, you have to be very conscious of both, because it's easy to lose yourself.
Yeah.
So
100%. And not only that, but Vic, you and I both know, because we've been in the game long enough, right? And obviously I've seen where your journey throughout the years, and but I don't know to what degree you experienced this, right? But also in the wholesale space, right? You it's funny, this podcast can be called the do's and don'ts of wholesaling, right? Like, literally, because also you're going to attract people, right? Yeah. You're going to attract people, once you have some success and you have some money, you're going to attract people more often than not that want something from you or need something from you, and they're looking to leverage you.
Yeah.
They're looking to leverage you. Yeah. And guess what? That happened a lot to me before I started to mature spiritually and mentally over the years. It was like, and it served my ego, because that's what I was operating with, subconsciously and unintentionally, because Vic's known me since like 2018.
Yeah, correct.
And he knows that I've always had a good heart. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that I didn't have an ego.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that ego started to attract people that needed and wanted something from me. And then I was okay with it. I would see past that. I would look at the good in somebody. I would give them the benefit of the doubt, but because it served my ego.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And we don't even know that. We don't have the discernment to identify, like, man, this person's core values or the reason why this person is here is the wrong reasons. And guess what?
It's for their own benefit.
It's for their own benefit, right?
Yeah.
Some of my ex-employees that came, I'm not going to mention names when it comes to that, but some of the ex-employees that I've been through that I knew that they were coming to me because of social media. Yeah. I knew what they were there for, but I looked the other way. Yeah. I looked the other way. I was like, well, you know what? This guy seems like a high caliber guy that can bring money to the table. Yeah. So I'm just going to look the other way. Yeah. Right? Even though I know he's here because he wants something, he needs something. He's after his own self-interest, right? And but at that point it was like, when you do have a good heart, you look past that. Yeah. Well, and it bites you in the butt, bro. Yeah, it bites you in the butt.
But you're just not looking for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
you're not looking for it, but also because you're a giver, right? And eventually you're good. You bring in enough people into your life, that's gonna happen.
Jesus, dude.
But if you think about it, like, I mean, of all the guys that started wholesaling, I mean, the ones that I know of, and I know of quite a few, I think you're the one that's really kind of set themselves apart more than anyone else. I think you, Pace Morby, Jamil, Sean Terry, of course, Nick's doing really well. But you guys are all givers. Like, I think thinking about you four guys, you guys are givers. And I think that's why you've been able to do what you've done, is because you're such a giver. Like, I can think about the times when I started, I heard about, you and Alex Science and a couple other guys, and I reached out to you.
But me and you connected.
Well, that's the thing.
To a different level.
You were right away like, hey, bro, I sent him a message on Instagram. He's like, rode through the office. I went to his office. We chatted. I think 10 days later, I got my first deal. And
bro, you have to. I will never forget his first deal.
That's wild. Yeah.
I think you called me while you were at the house.
I'm like, hey,
with
Carlos.
the old lady in Glendale or up north somewhere.
Yeah, in Glendale. Yeah, it was a couple. And I go, Carlos, is this a deal? He's like, and I told him the number. He's like, yeah, dude, lock it up.
Lock it up.
Yeah.
It was, bro.
And then it's funny because then I was new, so I was good at sales, but I didn't know much about the business.
I saw so much potential in you, bro. Like right from the jump.
Yeah.
Right. And I used to always. How many years would I tell you, like, hey, bro, you got what it takes to make it here?
Yeah. Carlos was a trash talker. But that's really
in a loving way. It was tough love.
It was tough love.
love. Yeah.
But it's what I needed, right? Because I'm very analytical. I overthink things sometimes. But it's interesting when I got that contract, I took it to the office and you weren't there, but Sal was. And he's like, "Weren't you just here last week?" I go, "Yeah, I got a contract."
You got a deal.
He's like,
It takes people 6 months, 9 months.
Yeah, exactly.
He
Took him
goes-
6 days.
And he goes, "You want a job?" He offered me a job.
Sal did?
Yeah, Sal did. Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
Sal's quick.
Yeah.
But bro, again,
Sharp, dude.
you know, it's been beautiful, bro. Because you know, even though you get to see a lot of the BS in the wholesale space,
Yeah.
you get to see a lot of the beautiful things. Like Vic's giving me information now, and I will openly. Sal knows. What do you think? I'm a sponge, right? I have my hard drive is, and you probably know me. Like my hard drive, it absorbs and it keeps things. You know, it keeps knowledge and it keeps verses and sayings, and that's how I'm able to publicly speak. You know what I mean? Because
It takes a lot of that.
yeah, I keep that. I'm very good at. I have that kind of memory, right? So Vic was giving me game. Was it this morning or yesterday? Yesterday.
Yeah.
And Vic's like, "Hey, bro, yeah, this is what's going on. Boom, 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 boom." And I'm listening, right? And I come back today. So, hey, Sal, I spoke to Vic. He's doing pretty well. And he said, these 3 things are what's working, specifically, right?
Yeah.
And Sal loves Vic too. If you don't love Vic, then you're
There's something wrong with you, bro.
Something's wrong with it. And he's like, okay, you know what? I've been thinking about direct mail. And then he's like, so now we're gonna add a direct mail, because we've been doing Facebook, we've been doing cold calling, we've been doing PPC, right? And now we're gonna do direct mail because of what you told me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Dude, you said something pretty interesting too before. Not that I want to switch gears on that, but I just don't want to forget. You guys are generating anywhere from 300 to 500 leads a week.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, it's called our Universal Lead Program.
Yeah.
It is something I've never in 10 years I've seen in my life.
That's
but
wild.
our
Yeah, it
budget
is.
is a little wild. Our budget is crazy.
Yeah.
It's like a multiple 6-figure budget.
Yeah.
Our average cost per lead, right? So it's a blended rate, right? You took PPC,
Yeah.
you take
Combine
cold
them all.
calling, you took Facebook. We're probably around 78 to 85 on any given week, which isn't bad.
No.
You
That's
know,
not bad, no.
once it's blended, because you have to remember, cold call, you're going to be at like, 25 to 35, 25 to 40.
Yeah.
It fluctuates up and down. But then you got your PPC, depending on how targeted it is, right? That can be anywhere from, 75 to 150.
Yeah.
Maybe even more, depending on how targeted you are. The more targeted, the more expensive
Yeah.
it's going to be, right? So, but once you put it all together, blended wise, it's pretty healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there was something else that Vic triggered earlier that I wanted to talk about. The evolution of wholesalers, right?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people come. I've seen a lot of people go. I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. And as you begin to get older in the game, like a Sean Terry, right? Like myself, Pace Morby. He started around the same time you started.
Yeah, that's right.
He came to our boot camp in Scottsdale. He was a home investor,
And
and
he had
came,
a franchise. Home
he
Best
came
Friend.
to us the Monday following the weekend of the boot camp, and we said, "Hey, bro, you don't need home investors anymore.
Yeah.
like, dude, sell it, get rid of it, or whatever. Like, this is the way, right?" And he was like, "Yeah," and that's why him and I have remained good friends because, when you know people from the bottom, which at that time, 18 was like we weren't at the top, we were doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But he was just kind of starting his journey outside of construction and home investors.
Yeah.
Right. And we have remained good friends. And, what he's done in the industry, in my opinion, well, this is what I was to tell you, because I've been asked this question multiple times. You guys want to you want to gamify the wholesale space over the past 10 years? I call it my Mount Rushmore.
Gotcha.
Mm.
Ready?
Us. Yes.
I got Sean Terry up there.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I got Pace Morby up there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you reasons for every single head
Yeah.
on that Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put myself in that Mount Rushmore,
Yeah.
but then I'll put Cody Sperber on that Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Ready?
Yeah.
Sean Terry, pioneer.
Yeah.
Pioneer, right?
I think he's taught almost everyone in the game.
I've been through his stuff.
Somehow, some way,
Yep.
you went through Sean Terry.
Have you been through Sean Terry?
Well, because I learned about you guys, I did research, and I'm like, oh, it was Sean Terry.
Well, there it is.
Like at this point, the ripple effects are everywhere.
We're all a prodigy or a disciple of someone else, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, I used to
Actually, we're
go.
gonna have him on the show in 2 weeks. Is it next
Well,
week?
you tell
2
him.
weeks.
You tell him that I put him on the mountain on the Mount Rushmore wholesaling, right? So it's funny.
We need to get a frame.
I'm going over the last 10
that
years.
frame.
I am. I promise. Right. But I'm gonna give you. So yeah, Sean Terry, pioneer. Okay, pioneer. So I put Pace Morby up there, and I'll give you this reason. Ready? Community.
Oh yeah.
Totally.
He built a community. Like Sal and I, we freaking became a ripple effect across the country, right? And more at the executive level, like not really so much we never really did like, hey, do you want to learn how to wholesale? No, we were like, hey, are you wholesaling and you need to learn this as a business?
Yeah.
Right? We were at the executive level.
Yeah.
That was a big mistake. Pace came in at the floor level and built a massive community, right? He did it right.
Yeah.
We, community-wise, we did it wrong. He did it right. And that's why I put him up there on the Mount Rushmore community, okay? I put myself up there because we brought a lot of innovation to the space. We brought, virtual wholesaling, and that was around 2016. We started doing deals in Vegas when Sean Terry came to our office in 19. He's like, hey, what are these 22 people doing in the office?
Yeah.
He's like, shouldn't they be at appointments or driving somewhere? Yeah. I said, no, they're locking up deals. Yeah. He's like, what? They're locking up deals. How? Show me, right? So then I told him about virtual wholesaling. We were already doing it for a couple of years, and then he had me speak on a stage about virtual wholesaling, right, on Flip to Freedom, right? So I believe that Sal and I brought a innovative kind of tech side to it, and not only on the virtual side, because I think Chris Chico did virtual, but I don't think he did virtual to the level that we did virtual, right? And I will always give props to where it needs to be. But what I'll say is we built all these, I would say, profit centers and companies that were able to cross-pollinate the picks and shovels, right? Our picks and shovels, we built it to a point where it was not only serving our business, but it was serving a lot of other people's businesses, right? Yeah. And that was, if you look at like what people are doing now, they're doing what we were doing back then. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would say that's what we brought. We brought the executive level, like, we just started giving out the game massively to a different level. And then I'll put Cody Sperber there because of the marketing side. Yeah. The guy has spent over $50 million, right, in freaking, like being a wholesale marketer. Yeah. And what is everybody doing now? Yeah. Right? Yeah. The education. No one has ever taken the wholesale education to that level, in my opinion. Cody Sperber, and that's why I have him.
And he's been doing it for almost 5 years.
2012.
Right?
He started 2012.
Gotcha.
So
he's
12
been
years.
Around for
but he spent like millions.
Yeah.
Like at some point, this dude made $20 million in 1 year on just the education side. Wow. Right? Which isn't bad, bro.
That's really good.
Right? Like unless your name is like Fortune Builders, or like dude,
Dean Graziosi.
Yeah, you're that's pretty good for a wholesale educator, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I put him up there. Yeah. And again, he serves me as a speaker. Mm-hmm. He served Pace Morby as a speaker. A lot of people don't understand, but this dude does a lot of things on the back end that a lot of people don't know about. Yeah. Yeah. He's a connector in the back end too. Yeah, so totally. That's who I got for my Mount Rushmore, bro.
I love it, dude. And
I agree with
you're
it.
You're so spot on too on that.
Thank you, bro.
I
would put Vic up there just because he's sexy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like I'll put a fifth. There isn't a fifth, but we'll add a fifth, right? We'll construct a fifth just to put his face on the Mount Rushmore.
He's huggable too. Super huggable.
It's ridiculous, bro.
We hug all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get that painting done.
That would be kind of cool.
That'd be badass.
But there's gonna be a lot of people. There's gonna be a lot of ego, a lot of hurt egos in the space when I put that Mount Rushmore on.
It's your Rushmore.
It's
your
mine.
Rushmore,
Mount Rushmore.
exactly.
It's mine. We all
It's
have
yours. It's yours.
we all have
your
our
Mount
rap.
Rushmore.
We have our
Perception.
rap Mount Rushmore, right? We have our wholesale Mount Rushmore. You know,
Do you do? There's something I do on a regular basis. And it's kind of crazy if you haven't read the book Think and Grow Rich, which at this point I don't know who hasn't read it.
Yeah.
But you know that the stage on the visualizing your counsel, right? Like sitting down with in your head with the people and having conversations with the people who you would look up to. Right. I mean, I have a particular set of people for like, for example, the business side and the professional side and the personal side. But I sit down, it's very much like that. It's like, okay, what would that person do in this case? What would, Sean Terry do in this, in this scenario, right? And it's really interesting. But when you kind of switch a little bit on like just a perspective and you shift it, you start to give yourself answers to it's like, it really is like having a conversation with with one of those people, and we can put ourselves in those seats, but having somebody to as a go-to in your head for like, man, this person is really good at pioneering shit, for example.
Yeah, it's like a virtual feedback loop.
Yeah, and I mean it does something, man. It's truly like, I think special when you.
So you don't have that in real life. It's just in
I do have it.
visualization?
Yeah, I do have it. But even if like if I have somebody that I mean, I have, thankfully, right, I'm very well tapped into top, players in their respective fields, and they're a phone call away. But it's also when I do this a lot in meditation too. When I'm meditating and I'm, oh shit, man, I'll talk to, I'll sit down and talk to my grandpa, just some shit that he used to do.
That's amazing, bro.
And just, but it's imagery, right? Going to it, it's visualization, but it's also like having this conversation. What would that essence of that person do right here? Not, and if it's not a technical thing, they're not here anymore. I mean, it's the advice and the experience. It's still, there's still ways of channeling.
The wisdom.
I've heard
Yeah,
that in
the
what
wisdom. There you go.
I've heard that what it does, it takes you outside of your mind.
Yeah,
That's what it does.
Yeah.
So it just takes you out
And
of
your
your mind.
your perspective.
and your perspective.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Right, because I always say this: perspective is subjective.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's one thing that has really helped my life. When you're operating with a lot of arrogance and a lot of pride and a lot of ego, you think that your perspective is all and be all.
Yeah.
But when you actually understand, like, perspective is infinite.
Yeah.
Right, like my perspective could be different than your perspective, and your perspective could be different than his perspective. His perspective could be different than that guy's perspective, right? It's subjective, bro. And if you understand, now it's like, hey, I just want to let you know, this is how I feel.
Yeah.
This is what I think. This is what I believe. But it doesn't mean that that's just what it is.
Yeah.
I think you can prevent a lot of disagreements. And I think you can prevent a lot of pain too.
Yeah.
Because right when we are young and we lack spiritual mental maturity, we think that what we think is what it is.
Yeah.
That's it. That's a word.
Right. Oh, it's right.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, but this is, the sky is blue. No, it's not. It's red. Damn it.
Yeah.
Right. So and that causes a lot of friction. A lot of disagreements.
Yeah. One of the most powerful I guess, forks on the road for me in my life was understanding that I just don't know what I don't know, and leaving space in my mind for the possibilities. That when that hit me, I was like, shit, man, I just don't know what I don't know, and I started walking around like a little baby. All of a sudden, I mean, I got like, man, now I want to have conversations with you, and
I love that,
and pick on that.
Yeah, I was having that conversation earlier with my business partner in the solar space. Garrett George, 30 years old, bright young dude, true warrior, very educated, not in the school system, just, in the game of life, personal development, right? And I was telling him how what I consume now, right, from the books to social media to movies, bro, I am entering, bro, and it makes me a little emotional. I am entering like the best part of my life, the best season of my life that I've ever been a part of. Watch this. This is how much fun I'm having. Ready? Whenever I consume, I'll give you an example. I am consuming a show on Hulu called Shogun because I am so intrigued by the code of honor of samurais.
The Bushido.
Well, what?
Bushido.
What is that?
That's their code. It's called Bushido.
Okay, well that right. I know about Super K, Superku,
Yeah,
Superku,
Superku,
which is if you dishonor.
Seppuku.
Yeah,
No.
you dishonor someone. Guess what's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And chopping your head out. You want to be my number 2, right? You see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
But that's the season that I'm in right now. So not only am I watching Shogun because I am so intrigued and amazed by their code of honor, their discipline, right? How disciplined they are, brother, to how they walk, to how they sit, to how they eat, to everything. I am so intrigued, bro, amazed. I'm watching Shogun, and then guess what? 2 weekends ago, I rewatched 47 Ronin. I rewatched The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, right? Like, that's the season I'm in right now. That is what I'm consuming now.
And that wasn't you a few years back.
Oh, bro, absolutely not, right? But I am just, I'm blown away by what God is doing in my life. You know, what I consume on social is it's really 3 things. One, humor, right? I got to start sending you more of the humor stuff. There's some really funny stuff on social media, bro. Like hilarious, right? There's some hilarious stuff. It's funny. But number 2, I'm consuming a lot of spiritual doctrine, right? From guys like Geno Jennings, Mark Driscoll, Bishop Marty Emanuel, right? I'm consuming a lot of that. And then, you know, I'm consuming, I would say, some form of inspiration, but it's difficult for me now. It's very difficult. I remember, you know, from 2012 to around 2017, I had a 5-year run where I'm consuming everything that Andy Frisella had to say, right? I'm studying speeches and my lead on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Right? And I've been very open with Ed about that, about like, hey, bro, you're the only guy that I've ever studied when it comes to speaking, right?
Yeah, he's really good.
He's
super good,
right? He's powerful, but that's what I'm consuming, because the way that a human being consumes, right, through our eyes, through our ears, and through our mouths. If you think about it,
exactly.
Right? What you listen to, which if someone's listening to this podcast, they are consuming, right? What you watch, right? What you watch, if someone's watching this podcast and listening to this podcast, that's the best type of consumption. You know what I mean? And then what we eat, right? That's us consuming. Totally. So I'm just being very conscious of what I'm consuming now.
So that's the evolution of Carlos, right? So that journey, which is 10 years now. So like for people that are watching, what advice would you give them? Like, how can you take it from nothing, actually where you started, all the way to where you've gotten? Like what would you,
brother? Like,
what did you do? What was the mindset?
Yeah.
What was the disciplines? What are the actions? Like, what are some of the things that you think that got you there?
You know, brother, in layman's terms, or just to simplify it, right, is trying to better, like trying to improve yourself every day. And I know that's very cliche to say, but really that's what it takes.
Well, that's what Nick mentioned. He was here last week. He said 1% better every day.
Bro, forget 1% better. I think you can do better. I think you can do better than 1%. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying 1% is great, because if you add it all up, compounding, 365 days, you're 365% better, which is phenomenal, right? But there's days where I'm much better than 1%. You know what I mean? 1%, I would say, is like the bare minimum, right? But that's what it is, bro. It's like, you know, seek and you shall find, right? You gotta seek. You gotta consciously know. See, too many people right now, they're focused on the wrong things. You know, I'll give you an example. I had to unfollow a few guys that I was following. One of them spoke at the Freedom Stage in December. You weren't able to go, I think. Where you went?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah. In Dallas, right?
Yeah,
I was there. Yeah.
So one guy that I unfollowed, I was just like, you know, this doesn't really serve me. You know, the lifestyle, you know, the toxicity, you know, the facade, like, you know, let me just. I was on the phone with Chris Rude. I was on the phone with Chris Rude at the end. I'm like, you know what, bro? let me unfollow him right now. Unfollow is like unfollow. Are you sure? Unfollow.
Yeah.
Like, right? So I think, bro, I again, that's what it takes though. It takes discipline to try to improve yourself every single day in every area of your life. People are too stuck trying to improve themselves in the financial area of your life and not in the other areas of your life where it matters the most.
Yeah.
I think I agree with that. I think it's also easy to get caught up, right? On the oh shit, I'm gonna improve myself in this area. I'm gonna improve myself on whatever, because on the business side, for example, right? But then you start getting noise. If you're not aware about the fact that you're consuming stuff, right? Like you got aware about it. So if you're not aware about the stuff that you're consuming, about the noise that's around us all the time, you take it for granted and you take it as shit. Like this is just what it is. If we're not intentional about the way we're crafting the life and we're crafting the advice around us, I mean, essentially what you're doing, Carlos, is you're dialing in the energy that you want to be around, surrounding yourself with the TV shows and the music and all everything that you feel is in alignment with that type of energy. Mm-hmm. That does not happen unless you do it intentionally. Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen unless you sit down with yourself and you ask yourself the question, like, what the fuck do I want? Mm-hmm. Right? And you come to a real, genuine and honest realization of what that is and start shaping your surroundings to that. We always say, right, like you're going to be the average of the 5 people that you're hanging out with. The reason you end up being the average of the 5 people you're hanging out with is because of the energy, the noise, the sounds, everything that's around it. It's the environment, right?
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
Some of these things that we say are so cliche.
Yeah.
Right? I used to think that too. Like, oh my God, that's just another Instagram meme verse.
Yeah.
You are the 5 people you hang around with. Yeah. But it's true.
So true.
Right? There's a study out there where, to go into deeper of what you're saying, the 5 people that you are constantly around, the 5 people that you constantly communicate with, that you constantly, are going back and forth with in your life, they have a huge influence over your life.
Yeah.
Okay. And then guess what? It gets deeper. They're about 50% of the influence in your life. That's what the study says. The other 50% of the influence in your life is your significant other. See, a lot of people don't, right? A lot of people don't, they never consciously think of that. What? My wife has no influence on me. Yes, she does.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yes, she does. She's either your biggest supporter or she's your biggest pain in the butt.
Yeah.
She's either your biggest, your biggest fan or your biggest hater, whatever, right?
Well, some of the best investments I made in my business that were big investments, she's like, you should do it. It's going to pay off.
Their intuition is crazy, bro. We as men,
facts.
We as men just, we don't listen to them 9 out of 10 times. Now I've changed that now because, if insanity, right? What's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same things over and over and over and then expecting a different result. Well, I had to change me not listening to my wife. Hey, babe, you probably shouldn't hang around that person. Yeah. And then guess what? A year later, 2 years later, boom, bites me in the ass. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That has happened with 3 to 5 people that have cut me deeply.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. There's been a couple people that my wife was like, nah, I don't got a good feeling, but if you want to be friends, go ahead. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, every time she's been right. It's nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm big on energy alignment, and we're spending life, right? We're writing life with this other person. The energy is gonna be, you're gonna feel it if it's off, right? They're gonna feel you if you're off.
By the way, someone won't even. If you're living in your truth and you're living righteously, they will organically separate themselves from you. They will organically, subconsciously raise red flags around you, and you'll be like, "Dude, what? Why would you?" Yeah. Right? And they will naturally also become your biggest haters.
Yeah, it happens.
They will. Yeah. Think about it, right? Why? I posted something the other day, yesterday, where watch this. You know what's funny? You will have people hating on you that make 2x, 3x, 4x the money you make.
Yeah.
they don't hate you because of the money they make and the money you don't make, right? Watch this. I literally just posted this right there. A big vision will always have big enemies. Don't take it personally. People either admire or hate what they cannot achieve, right?
Yeah.
So let's break that down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
Right? If you are a loyal husband, a good husband, and they're not, guess what? They're either going to admire it or they're going to hate you for it.
Exactly.
There's no in between, bro.
Yeah.
If you are a good father, if you are leading by example and like, damn, bro, that dude's a good father. My mom, my wife's constantly nagging at me. And my justification is, well, I got a business to run. But then they see Vic or they see Rafael or they see Carlos and they got businesses, but they're also showing up for their families and they're not using any excuses. They're spending quality time. They're being present, right? They're in the moment with their kids. And now they're either going to say, I admire that or I hate that because it brings out, right? It brings out my shortcomings, right? We'll talk about righteousness. A lot of the people that I'm no longer around, okay, they weren't good people. Our core values just, I mean, brother, there was a lack of integrity, right? If you're not walking in integrity, at some point, if you don't identify that as a person that is trying to do their best every single day to live righteously, right? You're gonna get burned, and you're gonna get burned by a lot. I mean, you've known I've been burned for millions of dollars. You know, millions of dollars, like $5 million, been burned, betrayed. 2020, December 2022 is when the last time that I got burned for $5 million. But that's what I'm saying. You got to be able to identify that. But if you're walking a righteous path, right, and they're not, they're going to hate you, slander you, because you're achieving something that they cannot, which is just being a good human being. They're burning people left and right. They're cheating, they're lying, they're stealing, and you're not. They hate you because you're not. Because if you were like them, they would love you and they would be around you. You know, it's an awful situation, and you know what it comes down to, right? It all comes down to intention, right? Because the definition of evil, what is an evil human being? Evil is to harm with intent. So if you know that you're going to harm this person by lying, cheating, or stealing from this person, and you do it, you're evil. You're evil.
The problem is that some people are so narcissistic that they won't even see it.
That's disgusting.
That's a problem.
That's disgusting,
you know?
Bro.
So unfortunately.
But if you see it, what do you got to do?
You just cut it off.
You got to go.
You did. You break away from that energy.
That's it.
You break away from the energy. It's this is where ego got in the way a lot for me. I would see, and this is early on, right? I would see as I was making progress and whatnot, I would start seeing shifts in people that were, quote unquote supporting me. Then next thing you know, like, oh shit, the support is not so consistent. And then I was like, shit, that's not real support. Next thing you know, like they would just flip, right? And I had, the same voices that were saying, okay, yeah, bro, like go for it, whatnot. When I was actually getting shit done, there was, they were throwing roadblocks, along the way. So, and this was coming from family, man. That's really one of the things that just got me. And I started to see a whole different side of humanity at that point. I was just maturing, I guess. And, but making waves, it just started bothering people that were not getting to that space. And I think as entrepreneurs, we're going to come across that kind of stuff. My ego back then got in the way a lot. And I would try to remedy the situation. I would try to feel better about it and make it right. And like, no, if I'm not doing this, if they're getting at me, I'm gonna get back at them. And at the end of the day, it's energy and it's time wasted. It's spent like everybody has the right to pursue their own journey, right? If that doesn't resonate with me or it's not in alignment with the person that I want to become and the road that I'm on, like why do I have to be anchored or tied, to that person for any reason, right? Yeah. So breaking away from that and then just realigning with myself was the thing. But it took me years of stomping my head on the wall because I wanted to break and my ego would get in the way.
One thing that really helped me.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's true, because a lot of times if something bad happens to you or someone does something bad to you, out of ego, you want to respond.
Yeah.
Out of ego, and what really helped me, my dad, he was very reserved, quiet man, but he was wise. He would tell me, Victor, the more you stir shit up, the more it smells.
I love that, bro.
So a lot of times,
It's got to be the best thing I've heard all month.
Yeah.
it really
That is not a cliche verse from Instagram.
no,
That is because that is pretty damn true.
It's true. And so a lot of times when I'm dealing with something, I'm like, no. The more if I approach it, confront it, address it,
Yeah.
it's just gonna make it worse. Like
Let me add
time.
to that. Let me add to that because I used to have some of the challenges, bro, and limitations that I used to deal with was wrath.
Yeah.
I would go from 0 to 60 like that.
Yeah.
Like that. Like I would want to like some of the people that betrayed me.
Yeah. You want to go after him.
I said, where are you at? I'm coming to see you right now.
Yeah.
Scorched earth.
Really, bro. And that could have led to me, being in jail, being away from my family, ruining my reputation, ruining my business.
Totally.
Like when these guys and these people betrayed me, I couldn't do nothing at the overseas stuff, but locally,
Yeah.
where are you at?
Yeah.
I'm gonna come and do such and such and such and such. You poison this rat or whatever.
Yeah.
And that right there, that's why wrath is a deadly sin because it could consume you to a point where you lose control, right? And then that can lead to you doing something that can ruin the entire rest of your life.
Yeah.
Right?
And the bad thing, not to cut you off, but the bad thing about that, when you don't control that wrath, now you just, even though that person was in the wrong, now you give
but you end up looking like the freaking bad guy.
because now you gave them the reason. Oh, look what he told me, this, and this.
Oh,
and now
my God, bro.
And now you look like the bad guy.
You justify the actions.
Bro,
of the other side. It's crazy.
I swear to you, I swear to you, like if I still got text messages from some of these people, right, where I'm saying, you're a POS and I'm, where are you at, blah, 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 blah. And then sure thing like, oh my God, they steal from you. And then they're like, oh my God, I'm the victim. Can you see this guy?
Yeah,
Look at his behavior.
So that's why I always try to bite. I just get rid of, and I just bite my tongue.
Well,
but it took time to learn to do that.
Back to, I was going to tell you back to what your father said, because those are words of wisdom, right? Because any monkey can lose their shit.
Yeah.
Right? But it takes a stoic man.
Correct.
To master. That is real self-mastery, bro.
Yeah.
To burn up inside and just take a deep breath.
Regulate your emotional IQ.
Absolutely. And instead of having the mind of a monkey, having the mind of a monk, right?
Exactly.
And that right there is something that, brother, I am telling you, bro, over the past 2 to 3 years, I am consciously, like I'll see something or somebody will say something and I see it.
Yeah.
And instead of reacting,
Yeah.
I don't even respond.
Yeah, and a couple of weeks back, I told you, Carlos is not worth your time. I remember we had a conversation because it's not. It's not worth our time.
These people, if you think about it, right? Like people that when you are living a righteous life, what do pigs want, right? Pigs want you to go in the mud and get dirty, right? If you play with pigs, right?
Yeah, you're gonna get dirty.
You're gonna get dirty, bro. And they're constantly throwing shots up. They're never They never throw shots down.
Yeah.
They're constantly they're like you said, they're grabbing the shit.
Yeah.
They're stirring it with the stick.
Yeah.
Right? And then hopefully they have a glove on or whatever, but
they throw it at you.
they're metaphorically just throwing it up.
Yeah.
The
A big shit pie.
The trippy thing, man, is that it's so easy to get into that if you're not aware. Like if you're not awake, if you're not aware about who you are, you don't know that, like you don't even know what your truth is, right? And you're standing somewhere far from it. It's so easy to get caught up in that kind of stuff because it's just the environment, it's the noise.
But that leads me
right?
to another quote. That's the sweetest revenge is success.
Ooh.
And Frank Sinatra said that, right? And it's true because when people burn you or they do you wrong,
you keep going.
You
keep going and you keep growing.
But you use that as fuel
Yeah.
to lead you forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but you were saying, Rafael.
I mean, I absolutely agree. I mean, the next thing you know, you forget about that, and then becomes a distant memory.
Yeah.
And yeah. I mean, you do get that feeling of gratification, and it's like, all right, cool. Yeah, I mean, that whole issue that they had going on, like, it's not even a thing because I moved so far.
Yeah.
Right. One of the things that I learned actually from Sean, and this is just from watching the guy, over a period of just constantly being in the trenches with him for 3 years. But he's I pay attention to people. If somebody is already where I want to be, I'm going to pay attention to what they're doing. Right, It's just the way it works.
Yeah.
Growth works that way. So I would look at how he would react, for example, against adversity and things like that. And he's a guy that gets out of friction real quick. So I don't know if you think about that, and Sean well, like he gets out of friction.
I've never seen him in friction.
So no, I've seen him like have issues with something's going on with a deal,
Gotcha.
something. There's pushback here. There's like internal on the back end of the business and all that stuff, like the shit that we get into on a regular basis. And he would get fired up, and then you see the energy, the emotion, and all that stuff. And then as soon as we had a solution, it was like, whew, like he would just get out of friction.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, that whole energy, that whole emotion, that whole anger or wrath that I was feeling 30 seconds ago, like it's gone. It's completely gone. And he would just continue on with this thing, and that would be a distant fucking memory. Like,
and it's interesting because he could be. I mean, you sense he has that energy. He could be high strung.
Bro, we're drivers
but
at
he
the end of the day.
doesn't-
Like
but
we have that natural instinct to go after it and kill.
But I've never seen him lose it or none of that.
Well, how about this?
And so that's one of I think one of the biggest lessons that I learned from watching him.
Things are caught, not taught, right? Things are caught. So that's something you caught from being around him.
Yeah.
That's why the people that you spend the most time with
Totally.
have such an influence on you, right?
Exactly.
Because you catch these things, right? If they're constantly drinking, guess what?
Yeah.
You're probably going to be drinking too.
Yeah.
If they're constantly grinding, if they're good husbands, if they're good fathers, guess what? You're probably going to try to be a good husband and a good father too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So again, influence and catching things, not caught. Right. But back to what we were talking about, the spirit side, the energy, whatever you want to call it. I'm looking at your cross, right? And this is a conversation that I had with my wife because my wife has wrath in her still.
Yeah.
And she's working on it every day. And then not even towards me, towards people.
Gotcha.
The crap that she sees, and I have to stop her from saying or doing or anything, right? And I said, babe, you read the Bible every day. She just got done reading the book of Matthew. Now she just read the book of Proverbs. She's reading the book of John. I said, babe, you read the book every day, right? If you have the Spirit of Christ inside you.
Yeah.
See, the Spirit of Christ, it's an internal transformation. It's inside out, not outside in. It's inside out, right? How was Christ? If you think about it, how was Christ? There was only, everybody out there that's a Christ hater, they'll be like, oh, he flipped those tables.
Yeah.
Well, that was called righteous anger.
Yeah.
What the people, what the Pharisees and the religious leaders, what they were doing to the people
The temple,
was unjust, right?
And the temple, too,
exactly.
yeah.
Well, the temple, the people that were running the temple were allowing all that to happen, right?
exactly.
So it was righteous anger, right? He didn't hurt anybody. He was just making a point.
Yeah.
It was righteous anger, right? Now, but there's a difference between righteous anger, right? Which is example, right? If let's just say that you weren't Rafael Cortez and you weren't like shredded and ripped and you were just some small guy that weighed 150 pounds and some big dude came over and he wanted to pound you to the ground, right? And I see him pounding you, then guess what? I'm probably righteous. I'm going to get righteously angry.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it's unfair. It's
unfair.
not like I'm a human being, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, right? So we'll talk about that. But what I'm saying is, if you have the Spirit of Christ inside you, it's like how would Christ respond to a specific slander, right? To someone trying to sabotage you or harm you or whatever.
Yeah.
If you have the Spirit of Christ, because you're either a Christian or you're not, right?
Yeah.
And I've been very bold lately about that situation about Christianity and how we're tolerant and we got pastors marrying, homosexual people, right? And I have nothing against homosexual. Like, live and let live. I love everybody, right? But, there's certain things that are, that are sacred, right? Marriage is supposed to be a sacred thing, right? Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, as Christians, we have become, undisciplined. We're not as disciplined as the Muslims. Those dudes do a whole month of fasting. Yeah. We don't even do a day. Yeah. It's called Ramadan, right? We're tolerant of everything and everyone, everywhere. The Muslims are intolerant, right? So all the, we're not bold. They're bold. We're not, right? So, but then again, on the spirituality side, if you do business with that good spirit inside you, if you build relationships with that good spirit inside of you, if you respond to friction with that good spirit inside you, right? The outcome's probably going to be a good one. Yeah. The outcome's going to be a good one, bro. And that's why I always say this, right? There's no such thing as business ethics. There's just ethics. You either are that person or you're not that person. 100%. Oh, I'm a good person and I'm an ethical business person, but I'm not an ethical human being. Yeah. Because that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
If you don't have ethics in your personal life, you're not going to have ethics in business.
And I've seen it, bro. I've seen it. Back to the wholesale space, right? When I was getting into the wholesale space, there was a guy named Sean, I don't remember his last name, from a company called Rock Solid Investments, right? There was 3 people. I remember, man, it was so, bro, I miss those days where I'm constantly, I got on Instagram in 2013 and I was hitting up the Delgadillo brothers. Yeah. Bro, I will never forget this, and I give them credit to this day. Alex and Jesse and their black BMWs or black Mercedes-Benz parked in front of a shitty flip that they're doing. I'm like, oh my God, I want to be that. That's a dream, right? I remember them. And then I remember this guy, Sean from Rock Solid Investments, and nobody would give me the time. Alex and them, they were busy, bro, and I get it. Jesse and Alex, and I get it, bro. At one point I was pissed and I was like, I said something like, "You're gonna see me come on." My ego came out because they would ignore me. Yeah. Not so much Alex, but Jesse. Yeah. And I was like, I'm a lion, bro. I'm gonna my ego, my pride and my ego, but also my determination came out. I'm gonna do something in this space.
I got ignored by a couple of people too. So
did you? I didn't ignore you, bro.
No, you didn't. No.
Yeah, I loved you, bro. Yeah. I still do. Yeah. But anyway, so this guy Sean gave me 10 minutes of his time in between meetings at the Capitol Grill on 16th Street in Bethany, bro. Can you imagine? This guy that was doing flips, he had a company called Rock Solid Investments. He says, I got 10 minutes in between my meetings. Yeah. And I'm like, let's go, Sal, we got 10 minutes. Let's go. I'll take the 10 minutes, right? And by the way, every wholesaler out there that's listening, this is just part of the journey. Yeah. Everything we're talking about. Exactly. Right? If people aren't giving you the attention that you want, if you're out there grinding it out every single day, being resourceful, chasing it, getting after it, welcome to business. It's just part of the journey, right? So watch this. I go to the Capitol Grill and I'm just, bro, I'm on the table and I'm waiting around. Right? I'm waiting around. He's in a meeting and I'm just like waiting around. Then he shuts off one meeting. They leave. He comes over to our table and like, hey brother, do you want a salad? Like, do you want some tea? Yeah. Like I remember I specifically, would you like some tea? He's like, no, gentlemen, I only have 10 minutes. Thank you. Yeah. But my other meeting's about to begin here in about 15. Yeah. Right? How can I serve you today? Right? You got straight to it, bro.
Straight to it, yeah.
And I said, brother, we're new in the wholesale space and we're just wondering, what advice would you get? Like literally, bro, can you imagine? Yeah. I set up a whole meeting to just, what advice would you give a new wholesaler in the space? Yeah. And he goes, this is and always will be a reputation business. Yeah. That to this day, bro, years and years, a decade later, bro, I still remember those words from that guy. Yeah. Which I'm very grateful. I hope I find him. I don't even know where he is or what's become of him, bro. But those words, you know, when he said, this is and it always will be a reputation business.
And that's very true.
So for everybody out there listening,
Yeah.
every wholesaler out there,
Yeah, watch out what you're doing.
that hasn't changed, right?
Yeah, when you're trying to screw somebody over a couple $1,000s, just know that it's gonna come back.
Oh
you know,
yeah, bro.
somehow, some way.
Brother, I've seen people that we both know, Vic. Bro, I've seen people screw people over for millions.
Yeah.
Millions and millions and millions and millions. And you know, it's sad. It's like anytime that their name comes up, there's a negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's, you know,
Because
there's
that
a,
gets around.
We have a
for
blacklist.
sure,
we have
bro.
a blacklist.
For sure. For sure. Absolutely, bro. You know, and you don't want that, right? You don't want that because listen, you can screw somebody over and you might eat for a month or a year or 3, right? But you won't eat for 10 or 20. You're going to burn yourself. And like, think about it, bro. What's worth more to you? You know, money or honor, your reputation?
Peace of mind, man.
That too.
Peace of mind.
That
It's like,
too.
shit,
we're,
man.
we're not getting,
You know, yeah.
yeah, we're not getting like we're not looking over our shoulder. You know, someone's not rolling up in here with a gun. You know, our houses aren't getting broken into. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we don't. You know, we got families, bro. Like, it's not worth it. Any monkey in the circus can make money. You know, and you've seen it. And guard your reputation with your life, man. Guard it like your life depends on it, because it does.
It does.
It does.
So speaking on that, for like, let's say the newbies that are coming into the game, like what other advice would you give them? Because number one, of course, there's integrity. What else do you think people need to hear that they should really embrace in a journey to become successful in real estate or business in general?
You know, number one, bro, like I said, do the next right thing in the next right way.
Yeah.
So be, you know, bro, you know what's funny? It's like you got a bunch of people out there, like here, I'll just mention names, right? Like you got guys like Nick Perry. No, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about that guy.
Nobody.
Oh, he scammed me. Like, no one's ever said that, right?
Hey,
All right.
straight shooter, yeah.
You know, like Sean Terry, you know, no one's ever said anything bad about that guy, you know. You know, you got guys out there that, you know, Vic, like no one's ever said, Vic screwed me over on this deal, you know.
Yeah.
You want, that's the reputation you want, because at that point, brother, all the doors will be open for you.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time, right? So if you're brand new coming in here, number one is do the right thing. Do the right thing, even if it costs you money.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've had to do that. Yeah. Where, you know what the right thing to do here is this. Whether it was with an employee, whether it was with a home seller, you know, oh, I'm going to make zero money, but the right thing is to get them to the next point. Yeah. And then you make no money. That's okay. Yeah. Right? So do the right thing, which is guard your reputation, you know. Actually, these are the big 3. This is what I call modern day currency. This is today's currency, modern day currency, right? Reputation, number 1, which is we just discussed. Number 2 is track record. Right? Build a track record. Be who you say you are. We got people out here, bro, that are, you know, they're selling a dream. They're selling a dream, bro. They you know, it's nice and flashy, and then you're like, dude, do you have an office? Yeah. You're right, like, you know, it's like I've seen that. Yeah. Oh, I'm doing this many deals, and like you by yourself, or do you have employees? Yeah. And if you have employees, where are they at? You know, right? Can you show some checks, some wires? I mean, you saw when I was in that season of my life, right?
You do that all the time.
I was, I had I had the Rolls Royce, and I had all the crap, but you know what I also had? I had proof. Yeah. I had proof.
When they called me up to be to coach for Wholesaling Inc. I mean, they had a vetting process. Tom Crow did. And I was like, yeah, I mean, we're gonna need just, you know, HUDs and so they go through this entire process. Like, shit, I've never put my stuff together. So I went back through my files for years and years.
That's right.
And I threw them all into this file that says "Show me the HUDs," and I still have that drive. So I close something, I just throw the copy on there. It was like
That's right.
Whenever I get questioned, like
track record, track record, right? Yeah. And number 3, relationships, bro. Yeah, relationships, brother. If you have those 3 things, think about it. Success is inevitable. Yeah. Reputation, track record, and relationships. Can you fail if you have those three things going for you?
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're in the solar space, real estate space, right? Roofing, whatever. You have those three things, bro, you're going to win.
Yeah.
You're going to win.
Yeah. Agreed.
For those out there listening that are getting started, right? Like it's understand this is coming from it's not just the base operator standpoint. Like you're wondering what happens, 10 years, into it after I have the business, I have employees and this thing grows and all that stuff.
Great question,
yeah. The problems and the thought process that goes into it shifts a little bit, right? But it's a very real thing. The things that we hear out there as cliches and it's not a coincidence, right? That all the people who are succeeding have a similar type of framework or structure as to how they do things. Be ethical, right? Find out what your lane is, what your path is, and do the right thing. So all these things matter, right? It's not just noise. It's really how it works. So
but you mentioned something that's very important that we probably should say before we close out. When you start making money, drop 70 to 80% back into the business, right? Delay the gratification.
Oh yeah.
You have
Stack up, because the way that, bro, by the time 2016 came, Sal and I were already building other businesses.
Yeah.
Right? We bought a medical company for $315K, years and years in cash.
Wow.
Years and years. That company, bro, is going to do like $4.5 million with 3.5 people.
Jeez.
At like a 35% net profitability.
Yeah.
How are we able to afford a company for $315,000 cash, right?
Yeah.
We stacked up. We started building other companies. We started acquiring other companies, right?
Build the war chest. Yeah.
And like, I get it, bro. Like, you want a nice watch. You want I don't know whose McLaren that is. I don't fit in those things, but they're very nice looking.
Yeah.
Right? You don't fit in those too.
No.
Right? But I get it. Everybody wants the status, because that's the way we're programmed, right? Like if my man here, when you get some crazy money, it's like more than likely he's gonna be like, well, I gotta get the watch, I gotta get the car, I gotta get the house, right? I get it. That's just part of it's part of the evolution of humanity, right? Yeah. It's like, I am successful, I am making money, and I want everybody to know about it.
Yeah.
Now I'll say this: that's the easy thing to do. The hard thing to do is to be disciplined, to manage that money, so that you delay that gratification, and instead of getting that BMW or that Mercedes Benz, right? Now you're getting a Rolls Royce or something stupid, and now you have passive income, and now you're building a legacy, right? And the last thing I'll say here is like this triangle, okay? This triangle, if you ever look at this thing that I created, it's three stages of our lives, okay? Number one, the bottom part of the triangle, it's called survival, which is every wholesaler, a lot of the wholesalers are gonna be listening to this show, right? They're trying to make it. They're trying to, break through. They're in survival. They're trying to make money, quit their jobs, provide for their families, right? Build a business, whatever. That's survival. But then stage two is status. All right, now I made it. Now I'm making money, right? Now I want the whole world to know. 99% of people, I want you to think of everybody that has made it to status.
Yeah.
They never grow past that second stage, which stage three is legacy, right? Now you're pouring into others. Like my legacy, like God forbid, if I were to pass today, a lot of people out there would be like, man, that was a pretty good dude.
Yeah, he had an impact.
He had an impact, man. They're going to send some good, beautiful energy my way, right? Yeah. That's legacy. Building businesses that maybe 1, 2, 3 generations down the line, down the lineage, can take over, right? Yeah. And not by birthright, but by qualification, that is building a legacy. Yeah. Contributing to the world, building orphanages, I'm about to get into a partnership with Cole Hatter. I'm supposed to call him back after this podcast. Gotcha. Guess what? He built an orphanage in Baja California.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Right? Or like Rosarito area, right? Yeah. Ensenada, Rosarito, right? That's legacy. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Man. Damn, bro. Your sexiness gives me allergies.
It's seasonal.
But yeah, but that's what I'm talking about, right? Most wholesalers, once they get to that status stage, they don't think of that last legacy building stage. Yeah. And that, to me, right there, bro, that's when you're truly leaving your mark on the world.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. Without a doubt. And that's really the most powerful too. That really
Absolutely.
is.
Absolutely.
Love it, man. Dude, so many golden nuggets. It's really cool to see the, first, point perspective on how everything has, from ground zero, from the day one when you got started, all the stuff, the highs, the lows, and everything that you've been through, man. It's a very, very interesting journey, and I mean, you're still going full speed ahead. So
we're still building, bro. And right now,
building.
like there's a lot of people. Like I've been saying this a lot lately. I was talking to my spiritual mentor this morning, and that's what you meant to say earlier. That when you have 3-5 people that you can go to for different big choices or different things that you want to discuss, I call that like my personal board of advisors, right?
Yep.
And we were discussing something this morning, and I was like, brother, the sense that I get right now in the business sector, right, is people are either building, or they're scrambling and surviving, bro. Yeah. And you can tell, right? Like Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out, you get to see who's swimming naked. Yeah. And that's what I'm seeing right now in business. Whether you're a wholesaler, it's like if you didn't build something tangible, you are scrambling. I mean, I'm seeing people sell, $30,000 mentorships for $997. Yeah. And then they got 2.5 people in their office, and it's like, dude, that's not even going to pay for whatever the hell you are, for whatever you're paying. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but that's what happens, because any monkey could have made money from 2018 to 2022. Yeah. For those, it was a 4-year run, right? Yeah. It's like, bro, I mean, people were making stupid amount. There was so much out there, right? Yeah. I think that was when Trump was in office, right? Yeah. Was it? Yeah. 16 to 20, right? Wow, 16 to 20. So people were just like, I mean, bro, you remember, right? Yeah. People were balling. Yeah. And then now, the tough times are here. Yeah. The tide has gone out. Yeah. Who was building and who was just surviving? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're seeing it right now.
Oh, 100%. Like, there's a lot of guys are out of the business. They're just out.
Absolutely. Yeah. We survived. This is what I'll say. Q3 of 2022, bro, we had 15 flips between California, Vegas, and Arizona. That was the biggest financial kick to the nuts we've ever survived. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Getting betrayed and losing millions overseas in a business, that's one thing. Yeah. But having physical assets, flips, right?
Assets,
and negative, and then you're fighting on multiple fronts, right? You got the private money guy over here that you need to pay, multiple 6 figures to, and just interest,
hard money costs,
right? Yeah. And then on the other side, you've already reduced your price 25% below original listing price on average across all 15 flips. Right. And then when you're going, that is already crazy. Then you're going to the closing table and you're writing a check to sell the deal. Yeah. Oh, brother. No, this is not just concession. We're talking 50, 80, 40, 30, 35. Now we're paying somebody to take this house that has now become a liability off our hands because we don't want to keep paying the multiple 6-figure. You know what I'm saying? So that was rough. And if you survive that, You'll survive everything.
You'll survive anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that being said, Carlos, where can people reach you?
Carlos Reyes, Instagram, brotst. Carlos Reyes, and if anybody, there's a free book I give out. Yeah. It's free. Bestwholesalebook.com, right? Best wholesale
book ever, right? Is that what it is?
I don't even know what it's. REI. I'll put the link down there somewhere, bro.
We'll drop it on the show.
But I give it away for free. No. I give it away for free. That's the book that I was telling you that I personally was involved with it was a 6-month project for me. And I updated last year because, what worked back in 2021 or whatever is not what works now.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
This is a ever evolving industry. You know what I mean?
And tell us briefly about property.
Property, bro, it's I don't know if there's another, private, like real estate private equity company, but my dream, my end goal, right, has always been to be a player in the private equity space. And now, we have 50% of a solar company, right? 30% of a coffee company, which we're about to get bought out from that, God willing. We have, we're in the medical business, right? The medical company we acquired, right? We're in the software as service business. Well, we were like, man, we're doing all this private equity with all these other businesses. What about the business we know the most?
Yeah.
Right? How can we get into that? And that's when we were going to go the franchise route.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I want equity.
Yeah.
Franchise, you don't have a lot of, you don't have equity.
You don't have it.
There's just fees. So that's what property is. And I'm excited, bro. That's our first $1 billion opportunity. We'll see what happens in 3 years. We'll see what happens in 5 years. But guess what? I mean, if you're going to be building anyway, for the next 3, 5, 10 years, why not try to build something that you can possibly, sell for multiple 9 figures or get an evaluation of $1 billion plus, I mean, the time's going to pass by anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Love it, dude. Bro, so many golden nuggets. I again appreciate your time. Before we sign off, I have this one question that I like asking. If you were walking down the street and you ran into your 17-year-old self, what advice would you give that kid?
I saw this, another Instagram cliche verse, right? The friends can wait, the women can wait, the alcohol can wait, the partying can wait, do it now. Like start today and you will be financially free and you will be, you have the freedom of time, right? To do whatever you want, go wherever you want, by the time you're 25 or 30, if you just start now. So that's what I would do.
That's a great advice.
That's what I would do if I was like, start now. And I know.
And delay everything else.
It's so hard, right? Like when you're young, it's so hard to tell your friends no. It's so hard to not chase women. It's so hard to not go to the clubs and the parties, right? That's just a common thing, right? But if you can say no to that and you can say yes to yourself now and building, you're going to be in a better situation than any of us in this room are by the time you're 25.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, there you guys have it. Vic, any closing?
No, I think what he said summed it up. I mean, thanks for being on. We're great friends,
brother.
but
Absolutely.
definitely you've impacted a lot of people in the industry, myself included.
Thank you,
so
brother.
thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you for being a brother to me, and thank you for wearing those boots today, bro. The Cuadras. Oof.
Crush it. That's a statement.
Damn, bro. What is that?
That's a
Snakeskin?
statement
That's
right there.
Python.
It's fucking dinosaur
Damn, bro.
skin.
It's not rattlesnake. It's a python.
Python.
T-Rex skin.
I'm gonna have
is
to
what it
one
is.
up you, bro. I'm gonna get anaconda skin.
Nah, there you go.
You got the
Nice.
python. I'll get the anaconda skins, bro. Yeah, one up you.
Fam, there you guys have it. Do us a favor. If you like the podcast, make sure to subscribe, like, and share it. Follow my boy here. If you're not following, which would be weird if you're not. I mean, this guy is a big figure. So there's a lot of value out there in the conversations that we have on a regular basis. Help us spread the love. Share the podcast again. Subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, stay focused. You got this.
Take care, guys.